This is Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox.
Thanks as always for joining us here on Financial Straight Talk alongside Jim Fox, the founder, president, and investment advisor representative with Wadadley Financial Group. Kevin McAlpin here. Thanks as always for joining us each and every week on the show. And we've certainly covered a lot in our first few segments of this week's program. And if anything that Jim and I have dove into has piqued your interest, pick up the phone. Give him a call today. That number again is 321-414-7526. Again, it's 321-414-PLAN. Online, it's getfst.com. Well, Jim, I was looking at this article here recently. It said younger generations that are counting on an inheritance from their parents might be in for a bit of a shocker. That's because a recent study by Northwestern Mutual finds older generations are less inclined to leave something for their kids. And what I found even more interesting was many still haven't even had the conversation with their family about their decision. I know these conversations aren't exactly ones that folks want to get into every now and again, but when it comes to facilitating some of those tough conversations, what's some advice you would give to our listeners and your clients more specifically?
Wow, there's a lot to unpack, but I've got to tell you, to be completely honest with you, I have seen kind of a mentality change over the past, say, 15 to 20 years. Early on in the early 2000s, it was always about leaving money, right? That was that was kind of like the go-to thing when I sat down and talked to people about retirement. It's like, oh, I want to leave money to my kids. And it's funny because that conversation has changed dramatically. And it typically, there's still people that say, I want to leave money to my kids. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. So if you're still out there are people that want to do that. But here is typically the conversation. Hey, Jim, I'll be real honest with you. We would love to leave some money to the kids, but only after we get to do all the things we want to do, which I think is the right answer, by the way.
Sure.
I really do. And I mean, it is just, it's crazy to think. And Kevin, I'm a Gen Xer, right? So I'm that latchkey kid, right? We came home from school and we could smoke cigarettes, drink, and burn the house down before the parents got home. Okay. That was just, I cannot tell you how many BB gun wars we had in the backyard because there was no parent supervision, right?
Right.
And then, over time, you've got the millennials and then, things started to change a little bit. It's gotten progressively worse with what I like to call the MTV Cribs generation, right? That was my generation and it became more materialistic. And I see more and more people like, well, I'm not going to leave money to Joey and Mary because all they're going to do is go out and buy, I don't know, back in the day, what was it? Beanie Babies. Right. And then it was, I've been through some wacky trends in the I can't believe it's almost 27 years I've been doing this. Isn't that insane?
Wow.
But the point is that, the people retirees are just kind of getting sick of it. Now, do I think that you should make your kids think that they're going to get, a couple $1 million in inheritance. And then when you die, you leave them, $83,000. I mean, it's kind of a funny joke, but I probably wouldn't do that to someone. This is a contrast to Kevin 2 weeks ago. Remember we had the story about the young lady whose grandfather left her everything and wrote everybody else out of the will, right? Yeah. I think it's important. And part of that is what we call legacy planning, right? And in our office, we discuss legacy planning. It's the last kind of topic that we discuss because, we got to get our other things in order first. We want to make sure we're tax efficient and all the other things. But I believe that you should be communicating with your family. Say, hey, look, if something ever happens to your mom and I, these are the plans that we have, and kind of break that ice a little earlier. But the reality is, and this is where I'm going to ruffle some feathers and probably get in a little bit of trouble here. It is not your responsibility to take care of your grown kids. Okay. Let's just start with that. It's nice to leave them money, but I know people that are clients of mine that are the salt of the earth kind people that really don't have that much money themselves, yet they're still paying for their kids' cell phones. They're paying for their rent. And you know what? I'll be honest with you, man. If my 70-year-old grandmother's outside cutting the grass or mother is outside cutting the grass, we got a problem. Right. And it happens. So you have to parent. I feel like I said this already once today with a client. It is now your time to become a parent. Granted, you're 60 or 70 years old, but it's time to sit down with your kids and go, enough's enough. We've got to make some good decisions. So here's the reality. If you or the person that is going to spend all your money, I think it is important to let your kids know, hey, look, mom and dad, we have retirement plans. We have all the stuff. We want to let you know that you guys are our primary beneficiaries, but I don't want you to count on our money as part of your retirement planning. So it's super important that you save lots of money. Share stories. Okay. If I remember correctly, Kevin, your dad was a CPA, was he not?
He was, yeah.
Did he talk about money a lot with you, or is he the generation that didn't really talk about money that much?
Well, he talked about money with me, and unfortunately, he's rolling over in his grave every time I do something with my money now, because obviously whatever he told me didn't register.
Well, it's the reason why I say is money was taboo at one time, right? People didn't want to talk about money. Biggest mistake ever. The biggest mistake that ever happened was saying that talking about money is taboo. I remember every baseball camp, every band camp, every summer camp, every YMCA, everything we ever did. You know what my mom and dad said? Money don't grow on trees. Money, like that was the extent of my financial education, was money didn't grow on trees. By the way, it still doesn't grow on trees. But you've got to communicate with your family. You've got to. Don't have them expecting that they're going to get a big, huge inheritance. But in the same time, it's your money. Like that's what I get back to. So when we sit down with somebody, one of the things we talk about are what are your goals? It mimics our last segment. I feel like we could just say, okay, play the last segment right now. But what are your goals? Are your goals to leave your kids money? Great. This week I had a lady who said, hey, look, I have 4 grandkids. I want to do something magical for my 4 kids. So I showed her, if you just put $5,000 away, and if you just had an average rate of return when they're in their 50s, they're going to have around $500,000. That's power, right?
Yeah.
But that was her goal. I have other clients we just talked about who wants to buy cars. Now, there's no kids in this story, but everybody has a different goal. So here's what matters. This is what we do. You want to make your money work as hard for you as you did for it. And I know, so cliche, so stupid, Jim. I can't believe you're just throwing sayings out at me, but it's the reality of this. See, we work 30 to 40 years of our life from age 20 to age 60. That is 40 years. You make sacrifices. You raise a family. You put kids through school. I know how much baseball gloves cost, Kevin. They're not cheap.
No.
I know how much new cleats cost. They're not cheap. I know how much it costs to do all of these things, right? But you make sacrifices. You put the time in and you get to the end. And if you made good financial decisions while you were making the sacrifices, there should be some money at the end of this kind of road for you. And I want you to enjoy the next 20 years, 60 to 80. If you're really lucky, like Bob Uecker, what was that, 60 to 81?
Almost 91.
90,
yeah.
91, 31 years, right? I mean, you want to enjoy your life. And if your goal is to leave money for your kids, we can help you make that happen. But I want to challenge you. Your goal should be to enjoy what's left of your life, because retirement in most cases is going to be the longest vacation of your life, and we must plan for it. Again, it comes down to what are your goals and what are your dreams. Listen, if you have no goals, if you have no dreams, I'm telling you, you're going to look like my dad in the first 2 years of retirement. And guys, it was depressing. He was medically retired. He sat in what was the deal with these purple mauve looking recliners back in the day, by the way? But he would sit in his little mauve looking recliner, but he never reclined it. He would just sit in it and he would watch Jerry Springer. And I think Jerry Springer was on 3 times a day at that point, right? And he would sit there and I watched my dad get older and older and older. And I saw my dad every single day because I didn't want my mom coming home from work finding my dad dead, because then she would have had a heart attack. This is the real talk here, right? She would have a heart attack. Now I'd lose my mom and my dad all at one time. So I went over every single day, or Michelle went over every day between 2 and 3, because we lived across the street, basically from him, across like a main street. And we would check on him every single day. And that's what my dad was doing. I was scared he was going to die. And then one day he went and hung out with his buddy at the church. And the next thing you know, my dad is building baptismal booths and he's doing this. And I'm telling you, my dad had a resurgence in life because he had a goal again. Retirement is not the end. Retirement is the next phase. And that's what I need you to understand. If retirement is nothing more than a way for you to pass on your money to your kids, I don't know what to tell you. I'll help you figure it out, but it doesn't sound like a lot of fun, and we're not going to like each other. I want you to enjoy what you've done. I want you to see those grandkids. You know what? Your kids, my daughter's in a musical theater program, is going to drive me crazy, and Kevin's son's doing the same thing. Maybe I'm going to end up making part of the set, and I don't know how to do any of that stuff, but you want to be the grandparent that jumps in there and has fun with this stuff. Make it enjoyable. You've earned it. It's your right, but don't just squander it away. Don't just say, my kids will get. No, make it about goals. If you need help defining those goals, we're here to help you with that. If you have goals, we're here to help you organize them, prioritize them, then accomplish them. But the one thing I want you to do is don't do nothing, because there is a way that you will create paralysis by analysis. You never get anywhere. You never make a decision. We want to make sure that never happens for you. Call us. We're here to help you with that. We're here to walk you through this process, and we're here to help you build a plan. 321-414-7526. Again, 321-414-PLAN.
And, Jim, to kind of piggyback on that, I was reading an article here recently that talked about those New Year's resolutions, right? And you write them down, you have things on paper. They're a lot more attainable when you write them down, when you share them with folks. And I think that really ties back in with this as well. You have your goals specifically for your retirement, but maybe they're just floating around in your head. You put them down on paper, you get them in front of somebody like yourself. That helps these things come to fruition, right?
Every single time. I do it day in and day out. I had a lady, I love her to death. She's been a client of mine for 11 years. She came in unprepared today. We had a great conversation, and I told her that I'm not going to allow her to come back in until she has her goals on paper, because I'm not doing this anymore with her. And she laughed, and she says, I feel like I messed up at school. I'm like, yes, you did. I'm Teacher Jim. I'm Uncle Jimmy. Leave. And it's all about you. It's about you. That's what I want this to be about. It's not about Jim. It's not about markets. It's about you, and putting it in writing makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, for sure. Well, if you'd like to put down your goals when it comes to your retirement, you're looking to create that foundation, that plan for hopefully what is the longest vacation of your life, 321-414-7526 is the number. Again, it's 321-414-PLAN. Online, you can reach Jim and the team at Wadadley Financial Group at getfst.com. That's GetFST, stands for Financial Straight Talk, because this is Financial Straight Talk with the straight talker himself, Jim Fox. Again, getfst.com. Jim, we got about a minute left in this week's show, and like we do each and every week, the floor, sir, is all yours today for the final word.
Thank you, sir. Well, every week, Kevin and I want you to know, we know that you have tons of options when it comes to getting financial information, and we're honored to be one of those resources. So like you said, if there's anything we can do, pick up that phone, give us a call, come to those workshops, be a part of this Financial Straight Talk family that we've got going on. But with all that being said, on behalf of myself and the man himself, Mr. Kevin Mack, I want to thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Financial Straight Talk.
Thanks for listening to Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox. To learn more, visit getfst.com.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Wadadley Financial Group. Wadadley Financial Group is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Wadadley Financial Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Wadadley Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any government agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Wadadley Financial Group.